Good morning, viewers. I welcome you to Malaysian English classes. In this video, I come to you with an interesting topic from grammar. As you know, on the basis of the structure, the sentences in English are often classified into three types, such as simple, compound, and complex sentences. Let us examine the examples on the blackboard. Here is the first one is John bought a beautiful car. John bought a car and it was beautiful. John bought a car which was beautiful. My viewers, if you examine these three examples carefully, you may notice that the sense of these three is similar. Right? What is that? John bought a car, symbol. A car that is beautiful. John bought a car, or John bought a beautiful car. But the structure differs from one to the other. Let us examine each sentence and analyze how each one is called. Let us begin with the first example. What is that? That is, John bought a beautiful car. See, this sentence, John bought a beautiful car, comprises, as you know, three parts. Generally, a sentence has three parts. What are that? Subject, verb, object. Let us identify the parts of this. Subject, John bought, verb, a beautiful car is an object. Right? You know very well, a sentence consists of three parts. This sentence again can be classified into two parts, such as subject and a predicate. What is subject here? This is John is subject. Subject is a name or a thing we speak about. Here in this sentence, in this example, we are talking about or speaking about, saying about John. Right? The sentence tells about John. And the rest of the part, this is John, the subject. The rest of the part, that is from verb to object. From verb to object. This is called predicate. Predicate. Right? So that the sentence consists or comprises two parts, that is subject and predicate. A predicate is otherwise called a verb part. It begins with verb. Okay? Right? See, John bought a beautiful car. Then this sentence is said to be simple sentence. Simple sentence can be defined as that a sentence which consists of a single subject and single verb or single predicate is called simple sentence. Simple sentence is a sentence that comprises only one subject, one predicate or one verb. That is called simple sentence. Right? Then, okay, here there may be a question in your mind. There may arise a doubt in your mind that which verb, what kind of verb there should be. The predicate should have a finite verb. The predicate in simple sentence, when is it called simple sentence? When a predicate has only one finite verb, then it is called a simple sentence. What's a finite verb? What's called a finite verb? Let us familiarize ourselves. If you want to familiarize ourselves, once we should go back to the forms of the verbs that you know already. What is that? The forms of the verbs. That means the conjugation of the verbs. Here is a table of conjugation of the verbs. Conjugation is otherwise called forms of the verbs that we use in sentences. So here What are the forms of the verbs? Present, past, past participle, present participle, infinitive. A verb in language is used in these 5 ways. That is called conjugational forms of verbs. Let us take one example. For example, bought, and see its conjugation, how it forms its conjugation. Buy. Buy is the present form of bought. The present form of the verb has 2 ways, has 2 forms. That is buy and with yes. Buy, buys. Or sometimes, the verb in present form takes yes or es or is. That form is often used 3rd person singular. He, she, it. Am I right? And singular nouns. Yes or es or is. In 3rd person singular, with 3rd person singular, only in present tense. Remember that. You must bear in mind. It's a very important aspect in grammar. These are, see, buy, buys, bought, buying, to buy. Let us see the forms of the same for another verb. For example, sing, sings, sang, sung, singing, to sing. These are. These 5 forms, on the basis of these conjugation, on the basis of these forms, the verbs are further divided into 2 types, 2 kinds. Let us see. V1, V2. These V1, V2 of, that means present form, remember, observe carefully, examine carefully, present and past forms of the verbs are said to be or called finite verbs. Finite verbs. F-I-N-I-T, finite verbs. Finite. Due to space problem, I write a very small letter. Observe carefully. Observe carefully my voice. Finite verbs. The remaining verbs. The remaining forms of the verbs, such as past participle, present participle. Present participle is often formed present form plus ing. This present participle. And infinitive, are said to be non-finite. What are they called? Non-finite verbs. Right? Why? What is finite verb? I just to tell you, I just give you the information. Finite form is a form, of the verb that tells present, that tells the tense. That means a time, number, and person. Finite verb is a verb that tells tense, number, and person. Right? Here, as you know, the time is basically classified into 3 ways. What is that? Present, past, future. Am I right? Present, past, future. So whichever verb tells time, whichever form of the verb tells time, either present time or past time, that form of the verb is called finite verb. So this is how the first 2 forms of the verbs, present and past. Present time, present means this verb tells present time. This verb, this form, tells past time, the action of the past time. So these 2 forms of the verb denote the time. So these 2 forms are called finite verbs. These remaining will not or do not express or tell any fixed time, either future or present or past. They can be used in any tense. In the next videos I will make it very clear to make you understand better. For timing, observe carefully. The present past forms of the verb are said to be finite verbs. Let us come back to our example. simple sentence must have or should have only one finite verb, either present or past. Okay, there may be more than the remaining forms. They will not be taken into consideration, but only these present, either present or past forms. Here, in this example, only the past form. Only the past form. Isn't it? Are there any other forms of the verbs? There any other forms of the verbs? There is any other forms of the verbs here? Buying or to buy? No. Even if there may be there may be non-finite verbs. They will not be taken into consideration. What is that? We have to take this form, past form. There should be only one, either this one or that. Then it is said to be simple sentence. What is the sentence called? Simple sentence. Once again, I remind you the definition of simple sentence, the structure of simple sentence. Okay, that is, simple sentence is a sentence. It should have or it must have only one subject. Here, John is only one subject. There is no any other subject. Okay, and one finite verb. This is called finite verb. Then it is called simple sentence. Okay, because you have already learnt about the simple sentence of 3 sentences in language. Before going over to our compound sentences, let us recall once again about a simple sentence. Do you remember the definition of simple sentence? Simple sentence is a sentence that consists of a single subject and a single predicate. That means a simple sentence has one subject and one predicate, as we have already learned in the example, that is, John bought a beautiful car. Here, this sentence, which is called a simple present, consists of only one, remember, one subject and one predicate. This predicate consists of one finite verb, only one finite verb. Already you have learned what is called a finite verb, what are called non-finite verbs, right? Here is one other kind of sentence, that is compound sentence. Children, you have already learned one idea of a sentence in the language can be expressed in other way without changing the sense. Similarly, here, this example of a simple sentence, John bought a beautiful car, can be expressed, can be written in other way, as that is in this way. See, the same idea can be written in other way. The same sentence, the same idea can be expressed in other way. As this, see, what is that? John bought a car. John bought a car, and it was beautiful. And it was beautiful. See, this is here. If you examine carefully this example, you will notice that here this sentence consists of 2 parts, 2 sentences. Here, see, John bought a car, here one, and it was beautiful, here. Of course, same, this sentence 2 is similar. Here, John bought a beautiful car. Here, who is the subject here? John. John here is the subject. What did he do? Bought is a verb, a car. John bought a car, and here it was beautiful. Here it is a subject. It is a subject. Was beautiful. What was beautiful? It was beautiful. It here is subject. Was is a verb. Here. This sentence consists of 2 sentences. That means these sentences are otherwise called these two parts. This is one part, this is another part. Or these same two sentences, and in roughly this sentence consists of two sentences. Each of them, these sentences are otherwise called clauses. Okay, a clause is nothing but a sentence. Clause is nothing but a sentence that also has a subject and predicate of its own. When it is a part of a sentence, it is called a clause. When a clause is written independently, then it is called a sentence. Here, John bought a car and it was beautiful altogether is said to be a sentence. This sentence in turn has two sentences. They are called clauses. That means the sentence has two clauses, right? Okay. See, these two clauses or sentences are connected with a conjunction. Conjunction is nothing but a connecting element, right? Connecting element in the language. So, these two clauses, okay, otherwise called sentences, are connected with the conjunction at. See, each clause has a subject and predicate. Subject and a predicate. So, one subject and one predicate. Here, one subject, one predicate. So, these two are connected with a conjunction, otherwise called coordinating conjunction. Thus, a sentence that consists of two clauses, which each one has a subject and a predicate connected with the coordinating conjunction, that is called a compound sentence. This is called a compound sentence. Compound sentence. Compound sentence is a sentence that has two subjects and two predicates or two clauses which is connected with coordinating conjunction. Then it is called a compound sentence. Okay, remember once again, this compound sentence here, this compound sentence is is a combination of two clauses. What are the two clauses? Let us see. First, we have to know what is a clause. We have to learn about clauses. Clauses are of two types in the language. Two clauses. What is that? Main clause. Subordinate clause. Clause is nothing but a sentence, or like a sentence that consists of a subject and predicate. Is right? These clauses are divided into two types: main clause and subordinate clause. What is a main clause? Main clause is a clause or a sentence that has a subject and predicates of its own, making complete sense. For example, I write here on the blackboard. We stopped the match. Here, the sentence or clause consists of a subject and a verb and an object. See, this sentence or clause having subject and predicate or verb, otherwise called finite verb, makes a complete sense. We stop the match. Or else, take the same example here. John bought a beautiful car the sentence or clause, the sentence makes complete sense. So it is called a main clause. It can stand itself as a complete sentence. Alright? But look at another example. See, let us compare this. Let us compare. When the sun set, when the sun set, see here, see, observe this example. Here this example too, this sentence also has a subject and a verb. Subject and a verb. Of course, this is a conjunction. This is a conjunction. All together is conjunction. See, this sentence though it has a subject and verb of its own, doesn't make complete sense. Doesn't make complete sense. When the sun set, then sunset, at the time of sunset, it doesn't make complete sense. It remains incomplete. It cannot stand itself by a sentence. For its sense, for making sense, it depends on the other clause. For example, when at the time of sunset, what happens? There is no clarity. It doesn't make any sense. It does not give a complete sense. For its complete sense, when it depends. It needs something. It needs some clause. See guys. Suppose when we attach this clause to this sentence, then it makes complete sense. It gives a complete meaning. See, for example, we stopped the match. Of course, it can stand itself as a sentence. Okay? When the sun set. We stopped the match when we sunset. What did you do? What did you do on the sunset? We stopped the match. Right? So that this sentence attains the sense only when it is attached to the main clause. So this sentence, this clause is called subordinate clause. SC. Subordinate clause. So let us write this example here. When the sun set. Let us write here the example. We stopped the match. See, this is we stopped the match when the sun set. Here, both together is made. Okay, this is a main clause. This is a subordinate clause. The subordinate clause cannot stand itself. It needs some support. It needs another clause to make its sense. So when it is attached to this main clause, it attains it. So this is called a subordinate clause. See, okay, let us come back to our example. Let us come back to our example. John bought a car. See here. What kind of main clause? Identify once. John bought a car. It is a main clause because it makes a complete sense. Right? It makes a complete sense. It doesn't need any sense. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It here is a personal pronoun. Personal pronoun. Here it refers to a car. It means here it stands for noun. So it is a personal pronoun. It was beautiful. It was beautiful makes sense. So it is also called a main clause. So here it is also main clause. This one also is a main clause. These two are connected with a conjunction. This is a compound sentence usually consists of two clauses. They are main clauses. They are two main clauses. Main clause and main clause. When two main clauses, or otherwise called, when two simple sentences, right, are connected with a conjunction and or otherwise coordinating conjunctions, such sentence is called compound sentence. You can say, you can get an idea, you can get a sense that, you can get an idea. Every main clause, you can guess now, every main clause can stand as a simple sentence. Every main clause which can stand itself as sentence is called a simple sentence, right? When two simple sentences are connected with conjunction, coordinating conjunction, then it is called a compound sentence. That means a compound sentence consists of two main clauses. Two main clauses, maybe more than two. Then it is called multiple sentence. Okay, basically compound sentence consists of two main clauses, right? Okay, now let us list out the coordinating conjunctions which are used in compound sentence to connect two different simple sentences. Friends, till now we have learnt about compound sentence and its formation. Once again, let us remind how compound sentence is formed. Compound sentence is formed with two main clauses, right? Now let us look at the conjunctions which are used in compound sentences. Here is a list of compound conjunctions used in compound sentences under title Coordinating Conjunctions Used in Compound Sentences. Friends, you have already learned that the conjunctions which are used to join two main clauses to form compound sentences is called coordinating conjunctions, right? Here is a list of coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions are divided into four kinds. First, see, cumulative. First one, cumulative, adversative, alternative, relative. Let us study each one in detail. Okay. First, cumulative conjunctions. The cumulative conjunctions covers here and, both and, not only but also, Here the hyphenated conjunctions together considered to be one conjunction, one, not only but also. As well as this cumulative conjunction is used to add one sentence with the other, more than one, Here is a one example for cumulative conjunction. Here is example. You cannot eat the cake. You cannot have it too. Here two main clauses. You cannot eat the cake. It's an independent sentence. You cannot have it too. It's also independent. See here, each of them is an independent clause or a main clause or a principal clause. Or each one can stand as a sentence and each one can be called as a simple sentence sometimes. So you cannot eat the cake. You cannot have it too. These two main clauses are connected by to form the compound sentence by using cumulative. Okay, it adds more than one. Then the answer is you cannot both. Both means eat and have it. It adds both, eat and have. So you cannot both eat the cake and both, and here these two are, here this is coordinating, double. Okay, eat the cake and have it too. So this is the way the coordinating conjunction of cumulative is used, okay, in the language. Now let us go over to another kind of conjunction of coordinating conjunction, adversative. Adversative conjunction is used to express opposite relation. It expresses opposite relation, contrast, difference. Okay. The coordinating conjunctions of adversative nature are but, still, yet, nevertheless, however, only, otherwise. Okay. This conjunction is used. Okay. The sentences which are opposite with each other. Opposite. See here, example. Let us understand this the use of this adversative conjunction with an example. Example here. He is industrious. He is industrious. He is not intelligent. So these two sentences are opposite. Okay, they are opposite with each other. They are opposite with each other. To combine such sentences of opposite relation, okay, are combined with a conjunction of adversative with but, negative, opposite. See, he is industrious. He is industrious, working hard, but he is not intelligent. Why he is here subject? He is not. He is dropped here because already both the subjects of both sentences is one, he. So that you can drop one of the subject then. Next sentence. He is interested, but he is not intelligent. That means, but he is not intelligent. Right? Now let us go over to alternative type. Alternative type. Right? Alternative means it is used to express the choice, either this or that. This or that. Okay? So here is the alternative conjunctions are or, either or. These are pair conjunctions. Either or, neither nor. This is for negative. This is for positive sentences. Let us look at the example by using this. You can use pen. You can use pen. You can use pencil. Okay, either of them. That this one or that one. Choice. In order to join the sentences of alternative or choice in nature, you can use this alternative conjunction. So let us look at the example. You can use pen. You can use pencil. The answer is you can use pen or pencil. You can use pen or pencil. Now, last one, elative. Elative conjunction is used. It is used to express reason. Why? It answers the question why. So, the elative conjunctions of coordinating conjunctions are therefore, so, and so, for. Okay? Let us look at the example. Here, let us study the example here. He was ill. He was ill means sick, not feeling good. He was ill. He was sick. He was absent from school. See, this sentence is the result of this action, right? Why he was absent? Why was he absent from school? This is the reason. He was ill because he was ill. So that doesn't. So in order to combine these two relative sentences which expresses the reason, then we can use the conjunction any of them. So he was ill. He was ill means he was sick. So he was absent from school. This is all, my dear friends. We can use these coordinating conjunctions in the language, okay, to form the coordinating compound sentences. And see, these are limited in nature. If you practice these coordinating conjunctions enough, you can identify easily the compound sentences. You can easily form the compound sentences. So, my dear friends, I advise you to get mastery over these coordinating conjunctions by giving enough practice. Okay? Already we have learned about the simple sentence, compound sentence, and you have learned how they are formed. Now, let us discuss complex sentence. Before going over this complex sentence, let us recall once again how each simple sentence and compound sentences are formed. Let us go back to our examples on the blackboard. Here, John bought a beautiful car. It is a simple sentence, you know very well. You have learned that simple sentence is formed with a single subject and predicate, that is one main clause. One main clause, or that means subject, object, single subject and predicate, right? One main clause. And now compound sentence. You know, compound sentence is formed with two subjects and two finite verbs. That means two main clauses. Main clause 1 connected with the coordinate and conjunctions. Two main clauses, main clause. Okay, connected with the coordinating conjunction. One main clause. That means once are here, one main clause consists of a single subject and predicate. Sometimes more than two in compound. Now this is the time for the discussion of complex sentence. Complex sentence is formed by one main clause plus subordinate clause. Main clause plus subordinate clause. You know very well what is a main clause. You know, main clause, already we have learnt the clauses. What is a clause? How many clauses are there? You know, there are two types of clauses, main clause and subordinate clause. Main clause is a clause that has a subject and predicate making complete sense, and it can stand itself as a sentence. Whereas subordinate clause is a clause, okay, that has subject and predicate objectives of its own, but it cannot make complete sense. For complete meaning, it always depends on the main clause. We have already learnt in our previous discussions. But here, main clause, here the complex sentence always is combination of main clause and subordinate clause. Let us look at the blackboard here. John bought a car. Here, this is a main clause. Here, this is a main clause. Main clause. See, why this is a main clause? Because this clause of this sentence, which is a part of the sentence, makes complete sense. John bought a car. John bought a car. It makes complete sense. It gives us full sense for us. So this is called a main clause. Whereas, see, which was beautiful here. Which was here is of course, a conjunction, a subordinate conjunction or a relative pronoun is made as a subject, and it also connects these two. Connects this subordinate clause. This is a verb. Of course, this is a complement, right? Which was beautiful. Which here is a subordinate conjunction, otherwise called a relative conjunction, and here as a relative conjunction, as a subordinate conjunction, he is otherwise called a relative pronoun. Relative pronoun always refers to the noun that comes before here, car. So which stands for this car, noun. So which was. See, which was beautiful. Suppose this main clause is absent here. Suppose this main clause is absent. Right? No. There is no main clause. Then this very subordinate clause, which is made of the subordinate conjunction relative pronoun, cannot stand itself as a sentence, and it does not make any sense. See, which was beautiful. That was beautiful. What was beautiful? There is no any sense. What was beautiful? Only when it will be when it will be meaningful, when it can make sense, only when it is connected or written after the noun something. Okay, here in front of it. When it is connected this clause, main clause. Which was means which, that means a car. So that this which was beautiful, the subordinate clause makes a sense. So this is a subordinate clause. Then John bought a car which was beautiful. This is how the main clause is made up of two clauses, that is one main clause and other one is a subordinate clause. Sometimes there will be more than one subordinate clause in the sentences, but one main clause is a must. Main clause is a must in complex sentence. There will be more than one subordinate clauses, no restriction for this. This is a complex sentence is made up of clauses, that is main clause and subordinate. This is a combination of two different. One is main clause, other one is subordinate clause. MC plus subordinate clause. Here, to connect this, to connect the main clause, subordinate clause to the main clause, we use some conjunctions. Like some conjunctions as a subordinate conjunction. Subordinate conjunctions. Sometimes some relative pronouns like this. Relative pronouns. Here is some list here. Relative pronouns. That, which, who, whom, whose, and other WH words. Sometimes other WH words like what, where, why, okay, etc. are also used as subordinate conjunction in the language to make the subordinate clauses. Now let us examine or observe the example of subordinate clauses which are made up of these relative pronouns, okay, with adequate or sufficient examples here. One is we know that she studies well. Here we know that, we subject main word, finite verb this is. That she studies well is a subordinate clause, because it is a subordinate clause. It is made up of that relative pronoun. It is otherwise called relative conjunction or subordinate conjunction. So we know that she studies well. It is a subordinate clause. Next, he told me is a main clause. A story. He told me a story which was very interesting. What was interesting? So story was interesting. Here this is. So this is called a subordinate clause. Next one. He always helps the people. He always helps the people is a subject, verb, object. This is a main clause. This is called a main clause. Who are in the trouble? Who are in trouble? Who are in trouble is a subordinate clause. Next, I met a doctor. It is a main clause. Whom you told about. It is a subordinate clause. Next one. Mr. Ravi adopted. Mr. Ravi adopted a boy. Mr. Ravi adopted a boy is a main clause. Whose parents died is a subordinate clause. See, this is a complex sentence is made up of a main clause and a subordinate clause. Main clause, subordinate clause. Main clause, subordinate clause. Main clause, subordinate clause. These are the examples. Still, there are some coordinating conjunctions in the language. Some subordinating conjunctions which are used to make subordinate clauses. Right? Let us list out the conjunctions which are used to make subordinate clauses in complex sentences in the form of with the help of examples.